welcome back to another episode of Exploring Cinema. It is Alex.
And Jared.
And we're going to be talking about going and seeing The Long Walk. We went and saw it. What day was it?
Well, it was Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like the first day it came out. We went and saw it the first day it came out. The first showing at our theater, too. We really wanted to see it. The trailer made it look really good. And then we kept seeing some little, it's going to be really good things, you know. We kept seeing that it was just be really good. So we went, we saw it. And we both left the theater crying. So it was really good. They were tears of big emotions, not tears of what did I just watch. It was really good. And so we're going to be talking about that movie. But first, as we always do, we got to talk about the trailers.
But I'm not going to talk about most of these trailers because most of them we've talked about 18 times.
And it's like redonkulous at this point.
It's like the same trailer 15 times, but not a lot has changed.
Yeah. All right. We got Him, the new football horror movie, which I don't know if we've actually talked about this trailer yet. I don't know if it's played before any. I've seen it before, but I don't know if it's actually played before any of the movies that we actually did the podcast on.
I don't think it has.
I don't think so. It looks scary. I've never seen a sports really horror movie, but you got me scared to play football. I mean,
well, were you ever gonna play football?
I know how to throw a ball.
Okay.
I know how to put I know how to do put the spin on the football and make it go really far.
You know what? Valid core. Okay. Well,
did I always embarrass myself when I threw a football though? Because my dad could always throw it like 4 times as far. Yes, I did. But also that's not my fault because he actually was a football player. So that's not my bad. he just he was equipped to be better anyways. So.
Dad lore.
Dad lore. My dad was a football player.
No, this movie looks
incredible.
Very, very, very scary. Much scarier than I thought it was going to be.
Anything that Jordan Peele gets his hands on is scary and good, or both.
Yeah. I was surprised. I wasn't.
I mean, when you hear like football horror movies,
this seems kind of. Not cliche.
Kind of just different, I think.
Or I worry that it's gonna be like trying too hard.
I don't think so though.
But this movie's not trying too hard.
No, it looks really good. I'm excited to go see it.
Me too.
You know what the real horror about football is?
What?
All the TBIs everybody gets.
Yeah.
Traumatic brain injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's gonna play into this at all.
I don't know. Maybe because I did see him have little staples on his brain.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I think the first trailer that I actually saw for it was different than the one we just watched.
It was definitely different.
And it didn't, like in the trailer, like he's at like a football camp kind of thing almost, like for like NFL players. And in the first trailer I saw, and like it's like some weird shit going down at the football camp. But in the first trailer I saw, he does like have surgery on his head or something. Like something happens or something to him. I can't remember what it was. It's been a while now. But
and he's going back to like train.
You like retrain. He's like doing like rehab almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, after getting a brain injury because he's got the staples on his skull.
Yeah.
On his head.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more thoughts on this one? What are you thinking?
Honestly, I think it'll be better than I expect it to be.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be good.
Because I'm excited for it, but there's also that line where it's like I just don't understand where the story goes past what we've seen in the trailers. But I have high hopes that it'll be better than.
I don't think it's gonna pull an Opus and just do a bunch of dumb shit.
Randomly and make random choices about random things.
That movie was so goofy, it's not even funny.
It was a goof.
All
right, move on.
Okay, so football season just started up. So we have another football movie to talk about. We already talked about this one. The senior movie about the older guy going back to his high school. I don't know. You know what's funny? I thought about this movie some more actually. Just like on my mind the other day. Not like what we saw the trailer, like just like driving to work or whatever, thinking my thoughts. And you know what it reminds me of? When I was in middle school, we had this like, it's called Warrior Wednesday. Warrior Wednesday. And every, like, I don't know, like, third Wednesday of the month or something, we had Warrior Wednesday. And you went to your group. It was like, I don't know, it was like your homeroom or something, but you didn't go to homeroom every day. So, like, it was like, you went there the one Wednesday a month.
Uh-huh.
And when you got to Warrior Wednesday, it was all about how to be a real warrior.
Okay.
And how to not bully other children. That's really the whole thing was. It was like an anti-bullying thing for middle schoolers. And they did it all 3 years that I was in middle school. And like most of the time, like we watched like The Cosby Show. And then at one point we stopped watching The Cosby Show. But they would also show like other movies sometimes. Like, I don't know, like we watched like some of that like Kid President stuff, if like that kid on YouTube. We watched some of that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, every once in a while, we would watch a sports movie. And like I never like paid really any attention in Warrior Wednesday, mostly because I was too busy drawing my little manga characters to give any fuck. Also, I was bullied, so I was not worried about the anti-bullying program. It was not for me. It was for the kids who were making fun of the food that I was eating at lunch. But a bunch of like the movies that they would play that wasn't The Cosby Show would be like high school sports movies. Like I remember we watched this one about like this like underdog like track star, and we always like watched like a lot of movies like that where it's like some underdog or like some like unexpected person, you know, overcoming sports stuff, and it was always sports. It was never like an art kid or something. It was always like sports. Just we were a big sports school. And
me too.
You too? Yeah. You did a lot of sports homeschooled.
A lot of esports.
A lot of these homeschooled
A lot of
sports.
those esports. Yeah.
I heard that the second time you said it, and I'm actually just rolling my eyes. That's really funny. You're grinding 90s in Fortnite while I was doing suicides on the field, bro.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right, continue.
same difference. Same thing. You know, same difficulty.
Yes.
So you did not run the mile or do the pacer test.
No, I did not.
The fitness gram pacer test.
No, I did not do the fitness gram
That's
pacer
actually like traumatizing.
Yeah.
And I was terrible at pacing myself, and I was always so scared that the beep was gonna happen that I would just full book it. I would full book it every time because like.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
No, you're supposed to pace yourself.
How do I look like somebody who's doing a fitness gram pacer test?
Yeah.
No.
So basically, what it is there's like one line on the gym floor, and there's another line on the gym floor, and it's basically like I used to have it memorized, but I don't anymore. It's been long enough, thank God. But it's like, okay, like you have from the first beep to the second beep to make it from the one line to the other. And the beeps get closer together the longer you go. And if you don't make it to the second line, like if you don't make it in time, you're out. You're out. You didn't pace yourself well enough. And it happens because you get exhausted. Because you didn't pace yourself, you know? Because you didn't pace yourself, you know? And so, I would like, it would start out and it would be like beep, and then it's like 10 seconds, but it doesn't count. As far as I remember, it doesn't count. Like it just beeps again. And so I would get so stressed, and like, dude, they gave you like 30 seconds so to make it like 30 feet, you know, but I would just book it. I book it the whole time. I'd be the first one to line. I'd be the first one to line. I'd be the first one to line. And like 15 times later, I was the first one out. Other than the kids who like didn't try it all, because I would just be like with the stitch that I get in my side because I don't stretch.
Rip.
Yeah, no, it happened to me every time.
Go back to your sports movie.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I got a little on a tangent. I do this every time. It's so bad. I just talk so
The
much.
first 25 minutes is Alex tangent time. And then...
It's whatever I've been thinking about lately. But no, it was always a sports movie, and so the senior movie would absolutely play during Warrior Block. This would absolutely be a Warrior Block movie because I'm sure that it has some big message like that a lot of middle schoolers are gonna watch.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because it would absolutely be a Warrior Block movie.
Yeah.
About overcoming, you know, things and, you know, being the underdog or the unsurprising hero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These movies, I mean, I'm not saying about this movie specifically because I have not watched this movie. I've not read this movie. I don't know anything about this movie.
I read this movie.
The screenplay. I don't know anything about it. But every one of these movies that are like this are designed for two demographics. And one of those demographics is like 45-year-old moms.
Yeah.
And the other demographic is like 65-year-old women after church.
This is also a church basement movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a church basement movie. Or, oh my God. Do you remember, I mean, you worked there, so of course you remember. Do you remember that that camp?
Yeah.
Yeah. They would play movies like that. Mm-hmm. They would.
That's what I mean. That's,
what's so funny
are the demographics for this movie.
I
Without a doubt.
I had no idea that the camp we went to was a religious camp.
Uh-huh.
And if I remember correctly, I don't think my mom realized either.
No.
Until like afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't realize either. Like it was fine or whatever. But like I had no idea. And so every time they would do so like we were at this camp. I know this is like a tangent again, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
but like
and then we need to get to
I know, but like
3 trailers.
every time like every day. I did this camp once for like 7 days. So like it was just 7 times. But every day after lunch, they would tell you, it was summer camp, they would tell you a story. And they would like continue the story from the previous day.
Yeah.
And so every day, like I listen to the story, and they get to the 7th day and they go, and that's what Jesus did. Like, and that was the story of Jesus. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, we've been talking about Jesus this whole time because I swear you've never said his name.
It makes me laugh every time because I don't know if there's a single story in the Bible
that you wouldn't immediately peg as.
That I wouldn't just go, oh, that's Jesus. I don't know if it's just so deeply ingrained in my head, no matter what I do, that I just know every piece of that book backwards and forwards. So
I think I've opened it once. I've opened one once.
It's not me reading it.
Other than from when we would do the little like sermon school thing during Catholic Church when they pull you out of mass. Mm-hmm. And you do the little thing. Because I'd always be like, yes, can I read? Can I read the scripture? Because I thought I could read better than the other kids. And so I wanted to be the one to read to everybody.
That is so Alex Core.
Okay, we gotta move on. I'm so sorry, guys.
That is so Alex Core without a doubt.
All right. Our next, the next one that we watched was A Big Beautiful Journey. And then Jared's little note says for the 34th time, because this trailer plays every movie that we see at the theater. Yes. This trailer plays, I feel like. But
the amount of money they have spent to advertise this movie is more money than you will see in your entire lifetime. Just so you all know that.
It's they've
spent probably $25 million just to advertise this movie. Just so we all know that.
If it was a different trailer, I wouldn't be bothered. But it's the same trailer.
Same trailer. And then it ends with the same joke. Making fun of
It's a big, beautiful journey.
Girls.
Irish accent.
The Irish accent, as if he's not an Irishman. And then...
So's the Irish guy.
Then you just move on. All right,
I'm looking at the ginger.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the ginger.
I know.
Okay. One battle after another. This movie... This is the next trailer. This is a new trailer. It was a lot shorter.
It was a lot shorter and
it's
a
very
lot
like
better. Yeah, a lot better.
Although I do like the first one where he's on the phone.
I did too. I did too. But I think this one shows a little bit more about what the movie's actually gonna be like.
It looks really good, and apparently it is super good. So I'm excited. We're definitely gonna go watch it. This trailer is like really short. It's really punchy. And it reminds me a lot of like my first impressions from that Civil War movie that came out last year.
A little bit, but this seems definitely a little bit more.
It's different, yes, but like same sort of like
same vibe-ish.
Yes,
but this one's definitely going to be more goofy. Yeah. There's definitely more of a
that,
goof.
Like little dry humor.
Yeah, there's goofs tied into this than anything else.
The Civil War one that shook me, bro.
Yeah.
The last trailer that played before The Long Walk was The Strangers. It's The Strangers Chapter 2, right?
Yeah.
The Strangers Chapter 2. Not to be confused with the first, like, Strangers Chapter 2.
This is the new Strangers Pray at Night.
Yeah. There's another Strangers movie. Can I say something really quick about this movie? This movie would be good if they made her join the little group of the strangers and go around killing people in the third movie. But if she doesn't end up being one of them at the end, it's stupid. Respectfully. I don't know. It's just like a terrible redo of the first movie.
It's like, I don't know. They're trying to make
a what am I saying? A multiverse, bro. The Strangers cinematic universe.
They're trying to make them like big deals when that's not what makes the Strangers so scary.
It's because
they're not
just
icons.
They're just people.
They're just people. That's what makes it so scary.
They're
even in Strangers Pray at Night.
They're just strangers.
They're still just completely random people. You don't even know if they're the same people from the first movie or not.
They're not supposed to be like Freddy, bro.
They're not, and they'll never be Freddy or Jason or Michael. They'll never be that. So don't make them be that, and don't. Is Tamara here?
Is Tamara here?
What do you get? That's not a catchphrase. That makes no sense. The only reason that works is only reason that is scary
is because it's the girl at the door.
She keeps asking the same house 15 times if Tamara's home. That's the only reason that's scary.
I like the idea of her going to the speaker though at the nurse's station and being like, "Is Tamara here?" She's late for a shift.
But it's not. Is Tamara here? Is Tamara here? And that really like slow and annoying over pronunciation of everything.
Do you like that?
What was
That's the sound of me being in the woods while the strangers are chasing me. The whispering woods.
Okay. You know what?
I had a long day.
Yeah, I can tell.
I was making that like weird spooky wind noises before we started the podcast, and Jared was like, "Oh my god, please stop." He's like, "I don't want to have to listen to this while I edit." And then,
to be fair, you were doing it for like 35 seconds.
Yeah, I know. But then he like deleted the recording, and then he hit the record button again. And so what did I do? Well, fuck, of course I started making the woods, like whispering woods noise again.
We gotta have this on record because this is gonna go into the podcast, so I have to have this on record.
Yeah.
That the reason I quit was not, I deleted it, was not because you did your little ghost noise. It's because you then proceeded to scream and peek the microphone for like a solid 6 seconds.
I wanted to see if I could keep my scream at the same like pitch or like loudness, like perfectly same loudness, and I could not. So yeah, like for an extended duration, it was very loud. Anyways, we went and we saw The Long Walk. Jared, initial thoughts, first thoughts.
I'm gonna give a spoiler-free thought since this movie's in theaters. And some people might click on this and then realize that,
Spoiler town.
Well, I'm not going spoiler town right now.
Yeah,
I will tell you when I go spoiler town.
A little pre-emphasize.
Yeah.
A
movie. This is a movie that. This movie is horror because it is, but it is a lot more than that by a long shot. This movie is horror just because it's the only genre that this movie would fit in. It's a movie that is much more than that. It's a movie that it's sad that this movie is based on a book that was written like, holy crap, like 50 years ago by this point, and longer almost. Good lord.
46 years old.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, you're fine. 50 years, basically.
Yeah.
And any person born in 1980 is absolutely killing me for saying that. But but I'm sorry, it's happening.
It's okay. You'll get old too one day, Jared.
Oh, I know. I'm not too stressed about it, frankly. Okay. Goo-hoo. Is that the ghost of me from the future?
Yeah, it's when you hit 50.
Oh, okay.
When you have your midlife crisis. When you go and you buy a
What am I gonna buy at 50?
A Dodge Charger.
I don't like cars. At least in the way that you do, so it's not gonna be a Dodge Charger.
It'll come with
it's gonna be like a 1967 like Volkswagen.
A DeLorean.
It'll be a DeLorean.
You'll get a DeLorean.
It'll be a DeLorean for sure.
It'll just sit in the garage. Just you're not gonna know how to fix it up.
It's out of time.
I'm giggling.
Are you?
Yeah, I am giggling.
Do you know there's another noise that other people make sometimes when they're giggling?
Sometimes I just laugh in my head and then I forget you have to actually display that out loud for people to get that you think they're funny.
Especially on a podcast. When they can't see you.
They can't see into my eyes
No,
and know that
they
I'm
can't.
a giggler.
No, but what I was saying, I don't know. It's just a movie that you're the messaging that is in the movie. It's more now than it probably was when the book was written. In the weird, scary, dystopian world.
Well, I think what I saw is he said that when he wrote the book, he didn't mean to put any like messaging in it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of his thoughts subconsciously kind of coming out and pouring into the book.
But I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
I really liked it.
Me too.
I thought it was very, very emotional. I was worried going into the movie. It looked good. I'd heard it was good. But it is about them just walking.
Yeah.
And a lot of times movies that are kind of in that sort of format are a little rough. Like
tedious.
They're tedious. Like like guy being on a boat. And then guy being on a boat, guy being on a boat, and then he just sees a boat go by, and that's all he sees ever in the whole movie. Or being stuck up in space by yourself, and the whole movie is just you by yourself.
Gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movies like that, and like those are obviously like solo character movies, but like I feel like movies like that where it's like they're just going somewhere, they're doing the same thing the whole movie. They often can get a bit tedious, especially when the setting doesn't change a lot. And in The Long Walk, as they're traveling, they never state what state it's in. But they're walking, they start in one state and they just walk continuously. And so the setting doesn't change for a while because it's really just mostly fields, kind of like rural areas. And so the setting doesn't change much. And so until a little later when they start getting into the city. But movies like that where it's the same kind of sort of setting, like not a lot is like happening, sometimes they're really hard to get right, and they really seriously just nailed it with this movie. Like none of that matters. Like you they're on a long walk, but there's so much conversation, so much dialogue, so much building friendships and emotions, and so much building friendships and the buildup of like these like negative emotions, like the tensions rising between some of the boys, and just the way that they build those relationships, and then their entire like almost like a hive mind of feelings towards like the major and like social like society, in the context of the movie, the way that they build all these feelings and everything, it pulls you out of the walking, but yet you're still in the walking. Like you feel it really strongly. And like there's moments where like you feel the weight of them walking 300 miles.
Yeah.
And then there's moments where they've been walking 250 miles and yet they're skipping. Like they're skipping and they're having a good time because they're building these bonds in the face of death. And it comes all together really, really well. And it's really impactful and emotional. And there's a lot of spots that really just really get me. And the ending just, it's like a sucker punch. It's like a serious sucker punch. And it's so good. And it really lends itself to the divisiveness of American politics today. And the way that people look to divide themselves instead of finding common ground, and the way that causes negative tensions, and that everyone, I mean, everyone in The Long Walk, all 50 of the kids, or the young men, they're all competing to win. Yeah. Everyone else will die but one guy. Everyone will die but one guy. And so they all are looking for the money and the fame. Like, that's why they're there. That's why they sign up. They want the money and the fame, and they want to be that last guy. And yet, they become friends, and they make bonds and relationships, and they come together. And instead of allowing that idea of a sole winner, where everyone else has to die, where you have to be the last one standing, the sole survivor, instead of letting that tear them all apart and stop them from making friends and stop them from being kind to one another, they realize that they're gonna die. They're all gonna die anyways, except the one guy. So why not be friends? Why not make relationships that last the duration of the miles that they're walking. And I think it really shows honestly the way that people feel that they don't always have a common goal, you know, or that their common goal means that people who feel differently than them, that can't be aligned with them, can't be their friend, you know, that they're wrong and that you're right. And
before we move further in, we need to just get two things because we're going to just start talking and we need to preface this. Two things. First off, spoiler free is gone.
Yeah, no spoilers.
It's not, we're not doing that anymore. And also, there is no way to talk about this movie without discussing political themes, because everything in this movie is political and not even towards one side or the other. It just is inherently a political movie. It's not a left-leaning movie or a right-leaning movie. It's just a State of America movie more than anything.
Yeah.
But there's no real way to talk about it without kind of talking about a lot of that stuff. So that's just your pre-warning if
you don't like political
you
stuff.
don't want to listen to that, which I understand. So that's your warning. We're not going to be just sitting here yapping about politics for the next 8 hours, but
for the next
your
hour,
fair warning.
Just a little bit, yeah. You know, I think it's really interesting too because we went and we saw this movie on 9/11.
Was this 9/11?
Yeah, we saw it on 9/11. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you going with that?
I had somewhere to go, and then you said that.
I know. Go ahead.
I think it's really interesting because 9/11 both divided and united people, and the same exact thing happens in this movie. And I couldn't stop thinking about that while we were watching it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's almost no way in hell
they didn't do that on
purpose.
Yeah.
There is almost no way that this movie wasn't put out on 9/11 on purpose.
Without it being on purpose, yeah. It's really interesting because it's, you know, 9/11 really seriously did unify, I think, the whole country, but then also people went a lot of different ways from it too, and everyone has their own opinions and their own feelings about it, and I think it really represents a moment in time where America is both extremely united, you know, in grief and the solemnness of what happened, but then people also, they take that event very politically, and people are very divided about it, and people get very angrily divided about it, you know, and about kind of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The social, the economic, the political issues, the side effects of it. People get really heated about that kind of stuff. And I think it's really interesting this movie comes out on that day because they're all these kids are like extremely divided. I mean, at the beginning, you have this kid, Ray Garrity, who's kind of like the main character. You follow him pretty predominantly. And the movie starts off with him in his mother's car going to where mile 0 is. Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, this is a book
written by Stephen
King. And so that character is the main character in the book.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't read the book.
I haven't either.
And then as soon as Ray sits down, he talks to this guy, Peter, and him and Peter immediately connect. And you kind of notice that Ray's a lot more of an anxious energy kind of person almost. Like Ray has a lot of feelings going into this, and Peter is off the bat a lot more optimistic of a human and is very friendly with everyone. And so you meet them two, and then a bunch of the kids kind of go around and they all kind of introduce themselves. And so they end up forming this little group of them two, and then Hank, and then what was the other kid's name? I can't remember what the other guy's name is. What is the other guy's name? I'm gonna find it before I keep talking.
Yeah, because
Arthur.
It was Art. They call him Art. Art a lot. Yeah.
So it's Peter, Ray, Art, and then Hank. And Hank knows like a lot about the long walk. He's very, very into the spirit of it. And the long walk is a walk they do annually to raise productivity in America after a civil war. And so at the end, one guy wins, and the major, the guy who like masterminds the whole thing, he talks about how after someone wins the long walk, productivity and nationalism, pretty much, they rise in America because people feel empowered by this guy, accomplishing this, even though everyone else dies.
Yeah.
And, they feel empowered by this like sole survivor. And so Hank is very, he knows all the rules about the thing. He's taken courses on all the tips and everything on how to win. And he's very by the book about how to accomplish winning the long walk. And then Art wants the money. He's there. He wants the money. And Peter's pretty upfront about wanting the money. And then Ray wants the wish. So you get money and a wish. And eventually you find out that Peter wants the wish so that he can wish for a gun to shoot the major, because the major killed his dad.
That was Ray, right?
It's Ray.
Yeah.
Ray, the main character. And so all these guys have a little bit different motivations. They all feel a little bit different about everything. Art is a very Christian kid. Peter comes from a troubled background. His parents had died. He was raised by an abusive uncle, ended up homeless. Ray's dad was shot right in front of him and his mom, and so it's just him and his mom after that. And then Hank, you end up finding out, is married. He's got a wife and still signs up to go on the long walk. And they talk about how everyone signs up. It's a lottery system, so only one person from each state gets picked. But all the men, they all sign up for this, chance to get the money and get the wish and get fame and riches and what comes from winning the long walk.
And there's the long part in that where they talk about how is it really a choice to sign up if everyone always signs up every single time you do it? Like they mentioned for a while, they're like, does any one of you know
anyone who didn't sign up?
A single person that hasn't signed up for this walk? And not a single person that they see knows, because it's not a choice to sign up when it's the only way out of your
poverty and out of your circumstance.
If the person chasing you is pointing to the escape hatch, do you go into the escape hatch?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they say, remember?
Yeah.
That's what they say. They talk about, if you only have one escape hatch, is it really an escape? Is that really an escape, or is that just another way of like submitting to what you're being told to do? Being voluntold instead of just plain volunteering. And with that, they're all different, but they all come together and they all unite. They form this little group of musketeers, the four of them, and they're united. And I think that really plays into the way that even if you have different opinions from other people, it's okay for everyone to have different opinions and different feelings about stuff. If you feel differently, it's okay. Like, it's okay to not agree with everyone. And if everyone always agreed with each other, the world would be a very boring place, because you wouldn't be able to intellectually grow. If you're never challenged, you never grow. And so it's very important to have different opinions from other people. And I think the movie really just pushes that you can have different opinions and you can still be united. You can still be friendly. You can still come together on stuff, because at the end, we're all going to die anyways. And they become friends because in the end, they're all going to die anyways.
And that's kind of the important thing they really, really, really dive into is they all hate each other because, some of them are dicks and some of them are nice, but they also all realize that at the end of the day, they're all going to die anyways. There's only one of them left. And so at a certain point, 250 miles in, they all realize that there's really no point in being that way to each other, because it's not really up to them what happens.
Towards the beginning of the walk, I think it's only like a marathon. It's like 26 miles to like 50 miles. There's this kid, Gary, and Gary gets off on the wrong foot with everybody. Gary's like a straight up like douchebag. He's a fucking asshole. He says really inappropriate things to everyone, says really mean things. And every time a kid dies, and like, the chills you get, every death matters. Every death they show really matters, and you feel each one really strongly. And it gets you because before a kid dies, they give them their 3 warnings. You get a 1 warning, you get a 2nd warning, you get a 3rd warning, and then you get your final warning. And then they put a bullet through their head. And like it's really heavy. And every time someone dies at the beginning, this kid Gary, he's like, oh, just up my chances to win. And like he's very upfront about the fact that like he's glad these kids are dying. He's glad everyone else is passing away and getting murdered, because it means that he's closer to winning the prize. And at a certain point, there's this kid, Rand. It's in that first 50 miles. And he says some nasty stuff to Rand about Rand's name. Or Rank. It's Rank.
Rank, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, why would your mom name you Rank?
Yeah.
And they get into a physical altercation, and Rank falls and gets like all busted up.
Yeah. I want to kind of bring here because we didn't say it. In case nobody has any clue what this is about, we never mentioned it.
Oh, yeah.
If you dive under 3 miles an hour, you get 1 warning until you get back up.
You have 10 seconds to get back up to the 3 miles an hour.
3 miles an hour. So you have to walk at a consistent pace of 3 miles an hour the entire time you're walking. More. And if you don't, you get your first warning, and then you keep getting warnings until you get your 3rd warning, and then your final warning. Your ticket.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Your ticket is when you get shot. They all call it your ticket. And if you are able to get back up, like if you pause, like there's one kid, like Gary, he ties his shoe and he gets 3 warnings because it takes him that long to tie his shoe, because each warning is 10 seconds. If you stand back up before your final warning, before you get your ticket, and you get back up to 3 miles per hour or more, it's 3 mile average. For every hour you continue to walk. So for like every hour you stay in the long walk, one of your warnings goes away. So you can get 3 warnings, but if you walk 3 more hours, you got a clean slate again. So you can get a clean slate for every hour that you walk per every warning.
Yeah.
But if you get the final one and you don't use that 10 seconds to get moving again, you get your ticket, you're dead. You're done. And so this kid Rank, he falls on the ground and he can't get back up. And like he got pushed like by Gary, like he gets pushed. And Rank gets his ticket and he dies. And the Musketeers, Peter, calls Gary a murderer. And for the next like 200 miles, every time Gary does something, they call him a murderer. Every time he's rude or says anything, they call him a murderer. They call him a killer because he got that kid killed.
Yeah.
And towards the end, there's like 5 people left, and it's the Musketeers, or it's 6 people, because Musketeers, Gary, and this other kid, Steppins. And Gary goes up to Ray, and he's basically like, you know, I've never had, like, I need someone to, like, is it okay if I join your group? Like, I've never had a group. Like, I've never been a part of a group, like, friends. I've never had that like the Musketeers do. They're all friends. They're all friends on this walk. And he's like, I don't have that. And he's like, can I be a part of your group? And Ray and Peter discuss it, and they let him be a part of the group. And once they let him be a part of the group, Gary walks ahead of them and stabs himself in the neck with a spoon and kills himself. Because he wants, despite all that they've gone through, despite how diversified they become, because Gary is an asshole, at the end of the day, he realizes it's not worth it to be like that. And he just wants to be with everyone else, because at the end of the day, that's what feels better, is to be unified with other people and to not be this sad lone wolf all by yourself. Because at the end of the day, they're all going to die. And it's almost like he's, by asking to be a part of their group after having been separate from them for so long, it's like he's asking them for permission to let go in his own way.
And like and almost it's like he's trying to finally have an understanding of why they all are acting the way that they are.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't want his final moments and the people that outlive him to think of him that way.
He doesn't want to feel rejected in his final moments.
And he doesn't want the people to know that he's
also scared.
They don't want them to think that he's a dick.
Yeah.
That's because he's not. In his final moments, he's talking to them, explaining that he's not that way. He's just anxious and scared and doesn't know how to handle this. And that's what he's doing in that moment, is saying, that's not me. I'm not that. You know that, right? Like, why didn't he? Because before that whole thing, so Olsen, Hank, the guy who's kind of more of like a big
nerd about it.
The nerd about it. He's in this is when you find out he had a wife. Clementine is her name. There's a whole bit about giving. Whoever wins will give money to Clementine, just to make sure she's okay, and they talk about that, and
they don't ask Gary.
They don't ask him, and that's what sets him off, because they think that he starts to think that
they just assume he'll say no.
They assume that he'll say no, and they don't even want him doing it. Like, they straight up did not ask him at all.
But they asked the other kid who they're not really friends with.
Yeah, and it's like he just doesn't want to be
seen that way,
even if it doesn't matter, because he'll be dead again. And I think there's a lot of that in this movie, where people are realizing the smallest moments that matter through the things that are going on around them. A lot of this movie is very much like we all are kind of going through our own shit, and we're all going on the long walk together through the 80 to 100 years, if we're all lucky, that we get.
Yeah.
And the movie's really trying to explain and show us all that, like, fighting with each other all the time and just, like,
it's not worth it.
It doesn't, at the end, it doesn't do anything for you. You're all, after the fighting is over and after you're done and you're towards the end of your life, the only thing you're ever going to want to be known for is the light and soul in you that you have. The light and the good that you brought to the world. It's the only thing you're ever going to want to be known for. You're not going to want to be known that you won an argument 25 years ago. Because it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
The only thing you're going to want to be remembered as is somebody who brought life and joy and light to the world and to the people around you. Mm-hmm. It's the only thing you're ever going to want to be known for. And that's what he wanted to be known for, even if he spent the entire time these people had known him being a massive douchebag.
At the end, he wanted their acceptance and their forgiveness. And he wanted them to recognize that he was more than a douchebag.
Yeah.
He was a person, too.
And in that whole theme is such a big deal in this movie, because Pete talks about that very, very, very much, about how he's, like,
gone through the worst shit.
Gone through so much shit. And he's like, well, you just got to go through one moment at a time. You gotta get, it's not what, everybody thinks, okay, well, I just have to, I am just moving on, living through life, moving on. It's not the going that keeps you going. It's the next moment that you look for. The next
always finding something to look ahead towards, instead of just worrying about the step in front of you and in the big picture, instead of always just being so focused on the big picture, just finding those little moments in life to appreciate.
Yeah.
And to be thankful for, because at the end, like, all those little moments, they add up, and always pushing this bigger picture, even when sometimes, like, it's necessary to, like, look at the bigger picture, just pushing that only instead of looking for the little moments in life, you end up losing a lot of the appreciation of what the world is.
And you lose the appreciation of the bigger goal at the end, because if everything's a big goal, that's the only thing you look at. If it doesn't come out exactly the way you think it will, you've lost every other moment that ever would have meant anything to you.
Yeah. And like Pete says, he's like, like, if I didn't, he basically talks about if he wasn't looking for just the next moment ahead, and he was only thinking about vengeance and about winning, and about winning over everyone else, he would miss out on the birds and the trees. And he talks about all the sights that he sees, the families that he sees having picnics and stuff, and just everything that he's seen on this walk. And he talks about how if he was looking only at what you win at the end, he would have missed out on all those little moments that he was able to take a greater appreciation for.
And then he never would have made it there in the first place.
Yeah.
Did you explain, because I'll explain it if you didn't, did you explain why Pete is vengeful? I cannot remember.
Ray. Well,
Ray.
Because Pete's not Ray's vengeful.
Ray.
I did a little bit about how Ray's... So Ray...
There's a big part of that.
His dad is... But so there's like a bunch of like rules in their society, right? So after the war, like they don't tell you too many details, but after the war, things are very censored, and Ray's dad would show censored, forbidden media to Ray, and you can assume to other people as well. And he wasn't afraid to listen to music they weren't allowed to listen to, stuff they weren't allowed to watch, stuff they weren't allowed to read. And his dad, at their family dinner, gets dragged out into the street by the major and the major soldiers. And in front of Ray and Ray's mom, the major asks his dad if he's willing to submit and salute the major and the soldiers in America, or if he's just gonna, continue to be, what's the word? Continue to be unfaithful to, what the government is saying.
Yeah.
And his dad tells Major, fuck you. I'm not gonna salute you. And he gets shot point blank in the head in front of Ray and Ray's mom.
And it's important to know that in that world, it's not bad things that are being banned. It's like AC/DC's banned, and like Diary Would Be Kids banned, and it's not that things aren't. It's not like they're banning the Anarchist Cookbook. They're banning like Lord of the Rings because it's not government sanctioned.
Yes, it's very much kind of. They paint it very much as like the typical like.
It's a fascist
regime
that's taken over the country, and his dad is someone who
is fighting against
it in his own little way, and showing Ray what the world used to be like, full of life and music and happiness and creativity and stories and
freedom.
And that's what he's telling Ray, is that's the world that he grew up in, and he wants Ray to have that to look forward to. And when Ray is full of vengeance about his dad, because of course he wants to
get back
at him, but he keeps. I don't know. It's just
Pete talks to him about how vengeance is not enough to keep going. You have to have more than revenge in your heart to want to continue and to push. And so Pete is really trying to drill into Ray that he needs more to go on, to walk on. He needs more than just vengeance. He needs to think of, honestly, the bigger picture with his dad, and also to realize that, because Pete makes a comment to Ray that your dad chose the option that he knew would end in getting shot. So your dad was thinking about more than himself, and so you need to think about more than yourself. You need to think about all the other families and everyone who are being victimized by this regime. And Pete tells him all this after Ray is able to see his mom while they keep walking, and Ray almost gets his ticket because he sees his mom, and his mom is obviously distraught, and he tries to go to her to say I'm sorry, and while he's going backwards on the road, so he's not progressing with his 3-mile pace, and he gets all his warnings, and they put a gun to his head, they literally put a gun to his head, and Pete drags him away, and his mom's screaming to keep going, and Pete's like, you need more than vengeance, you need family, and you need to think of everyone else. And outside yourself to go on. And in the end, Pete tries to sacrifice himself for Rey because Pete realizes that Rey has a big goal, has a bigger goal than the money. You know, he knows that it's a bigger goal than the money. Even if Rey is initially fueled by vengeance, you know, to use his wish to get the gun to kill the Major. Even if he's initially fueled by vengeance, he still has this big goal about change, about following his dad's footsteps and just advocating for change and against censorship and against struggle, like with the walk, against having to make these kids go through this walk. And Pete, they get into the city, it's just them two. And Pete takes a step back and he stops walking. And you see this like moment of realization in Rey's mind about Pete. And Rey grabs Pete, tells him he can't stop, he has to keep going. And he grabs Pete around the shoulders and he pushes him forward. And then Rey stops and Rey gets his ticket in front of Pete. And Pete is distraught because they've been friends. Like, they're calling each other brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Pete's like, I've never had a brother. And they've become so close. Even though they knew from the very beginning that only one was going to survive. Like, even though they knew only one was going to make it. And Pete is distraught because he saw how Rey had this big goal. It wasn't just about the money for Rey. It was about more than that. And you see Pete realize, like, what he has to do now that Rey sacrificed himself for the bigger picture. And Pete asks for the carbine, the gun, and he shoots the Major.
Yeah, it's interesting that you keep seeing you see it that way, because I actually see it a little bit differently. Because you're not wrong, but I think that because so I was reading it, and I think I told you yesterday. There's a difference. It ends differently in the book. So Rey survives over Pete. Rey wins. Pete wins in the movie. Rey wins in the book. And Rey sees another figure and keeps walking. He thinks that there's another walk. There's another walker still ahead of him. There's more miles to go. And he keeps walking, and that's where the book ends. But I think in this part, I think Pete ends because Pete has always been walking, and he knows that Rey will have a better opportunity to actually make the changes that he thinks he's going to. But I think Rey gives it up because he knows that with the right power, with the money, with the wish that he wanted or could get, that Pete would be a better advocate for that change than Rey would have been. Because Rey was too negative and too vengeful and too harmful and too negative than Pete was. But Pete didn't have anything, and Rey did. And Rey still was that way. And Pete was still the most kind, genuine, nice person that Rey had
despite
met.
all his struggle. He was still this bright light. And Rey realizes that it's better for the bright light to win.
Yeah. And I think that was like the biggest... That's not saying that the way you took it was wrong.
Well, I was just wording it differently, I think.
Yeah, you might have been. I don't know. I just think that there was a lot of... there was a very heavy, like, input on being the advocate for change, and then the way it ends, where he takes the gun, he has one wish, and you can get a wish for anything in the world, and he wishes for that gun, and shoots, like you said, shoots the Major in the head.
But it takes him a second.
It takes him a second to decide that's what he wants to do. But he shoots the Major in the head and turns around and keeps walking.
That's where it ends. He
never
stopped walking.
Because that's it.
He's always been walking.
I mean, of course, you can assume that they shoot him or they kill him or whatever, but that didn't matter because he had met people that he cared about so much that was what mattered to him.
Was that moment.
It was that moment that mattered to him, because he may get to be alive and Rey may have sacrificed himself, but he still knew that Pete still knew that Rey
got his wish.
He needed that.
Yeah.
And that was what would have mattered the most to Pete throughout everything.
Was that Ray God's wish?
Was that Ray
Because they were
God's
brothers.
wish? Because they were brothers with each other. And I just thought, I don't know. I think there's a very important message behind this movie that no one will see because they're just going to look at the gunshots and
the horrifying elements of it
that are like not even really there. This movie's really funny.
Yeah, I think that's what actually makes it scary. Is like, while there's all these like big themes going on, it's really funny. Like they're all like shit talking each other and just having a good time. The whole time they're walking, they're having a good time. It was really awkward because like I thought it was really funny. Like there's really funny moments. Like their quips are fucking hilarious, and no one in our theater was giggling at all. It's like people go in and they think that you can only laugh if it's like labeled a comedy movie, but like it was really funny. Like they're all riffing off each other, and it was really funny. And then all of a sudden, someone get a warning and they get shot.
Yeah.
And then everyone would turn to look, and they're all walking backwards, and then they turn back around, and everyone shuts the fuck up. And then they all start laughing again, because you get like it's like another 50 miles later, and they're all having fun again, and they're all goofing again.
Yeah.
And it's only until, like, they go like 390 miles or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when they hit 250 and there's only 6 people left is when they really stop joking. It's when they all kind of start to turn serious because they're kind of realizing that they're...
This is the end game.
This is it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just seen so much that it's like you feel death more.
Yeah. And I don't know. I've always thought it was really fucking stupid that people are so, like, against the laughing out loud in movie theaters and shit. Like, that's not like, that hasn't been, like...
Okay to do.
For centuries. We did this in Colosseums.
Yeah.
And plays in
like you get
Rome.
like dirty looks if you giggle at stuff, but then like the people sitting next to us were like, "Oh my god, what movie was it? We went and saw The Conjuring earlier this week."
Oh my fucking god.
Okay, so we're gonna do the podcast episode of Conjuring, and then we saw this movie.
We couldn't do it. I want to talk about The Conjuring, and we will get there as a brief between our ending of the conversation and then the next part.
Yeah.
But I just want to mention something that I think is really crazy. When Pete wins, there's fireworks start going because there's a crowd that revolves when it's the final two.
They're allowed to have a crowd.
So a crowd is allowed to walk with them until
the end. So they're surrounded. It's fucking like a fuck ton of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of. This is a big event. This is a big
huge
deal.
Event. It's televised to the nation.
Yeah. And then so Pete wins, fireworks go off,
and they play America the Beautiful.
Then everyone in the crowd sings America the Beautiful as you just watched the nation kill every young person that it had. And I can't say much more about that without getting into actual political topics, but this movie is one of those movies that your kids will talk to you about. This is one of those movies that means more looking back at it than it does right now in this moment.
That's fair. Mm-hmm.
People will look back at this movie in 20 years from now and realize everything it was saying about right now and right here that we can't see yet.
I think it's really interesting too because most people our age haven't read the book or don't even really know about the book. I didn't know about the book other than that it was a Stephen King book. And I only knew about that because I saw the trailer for the movie. And I think most people our age are the same way. And so any political messaging that is in the book is completely lost on anyone who's our age sitting down in this theater unless they've read all of Stephen King's books. Like, unless they're like a book nut for horror books like that, they're not going to know if they haven't read it. And I don't really know anyone who's read that book. And so any of those little messages and stuff are kind of initially lost, when you sit down to watch it for the first time, because you don't really know that that's going to be in there. You just know about the scary elements. It just seems like a scary movie. Like when we sat down, like I just expected it to be a scary movie, and that might be my own ignorance, but like I just thought it was gonna be a scary movie, and then it hits you really hard with like a lot of like the theming and stuff, and I can definitely agree that it gives it a lot to talk about in the future. And I think because so he wrote this book right after the Vietnam War, and so it's inspired subconsciously a lot through the political turmoil around Vietnam. And so I think it's really interesting because it's still applicable to today, the theming in the movie. And I think it will be into the future too. I think because people are always so divisive, and yet we're always looking for change. And we're always looking for change and unity, and people are always divided. And I think it's almost unfortunately a theme that, and messaging that people don't always take to heart and probably won't for a while, I think people just always continue to be divided. People complain a lot about, you're just giggling, and they give you some side eye if you just giggle in the movie theater at a joke. But tell me why, when we went and saw The Conjuring, the people sitting next to us literally decided they're going to get drunk and start sleeping. They brought blankets, and they were just sleeping and snoring, literally snoring.
Literally snoring. They were like cuddled together snoring.
They were like
literally for like an hour and a half.
They slept
at least an hour and a half.
They paid $25 to go see The Conjuring. And then they got drinks, so it's like fucking $70
that was
total.
at least like $125.
Yeah,
because she got a slushie. They both had like 3 alcoholic
beverages.
drinks.
Oh, and the
those
reason
alone
we know
are like $12.
The reason we know what they had, by the way, is because they left before the movie ended. After they woke up, and they left all their trash at their seats.
They did not leave a single piece of.
They literally
didn't bring a piece of trash with them.
It's like they moved in. It's like it was like a shitty roommate who just hoards crap and leaves the kitchen a mess. It's literally what it looked like. Like they
did not bring,
and they also didn't finish. They didn't finish any of their stuff either.
No,
and they literally just snored, like farted, and then fucking left their shit. Okay. No, they made so many. They were literally burping too. I think that's what kills me. Is they're doing every like nasty little noise. And so I just thought it was funny because when we were watching The Long Walk, people were giving Jared some side eye because he would giggle at some of the jokes. But people were literally like snoring. And then when we went and we saw The Long Walk, the people sitting next to us like sat in the wrong seats because there was a seat that was marked unavailable to purchase because it's broken, and it even had a sign on it that said that it was broken. And instead of sitting in the seats that they bought, they sat in the broken seat, and every time they moved, it went like this like god awful clicking noise. And then they were just talking the whole movie.
But like, I'm like laughing when the movie's making a joke and like crying when the movie's emotional. But I get the one that I get looked at weird. But people are literally snoring and like
no one was saying anything to them.
No, full on snore, not like a little snore, like a little. It was like full on like cartoon snore.
Yeah, like the snore that like you wake yourself up to.
Yeah,
like you wake up because you were snoring.
That like it's if I was snoring that bad. Someone like I would nudge you and say, Alex, you're snoring. Stop snoring.
Up.
You're snoring very loud.
Crazy. It was so crazy.
It was crazy. Okay, I don't know if this is the moment, but we've been. This is just the only time I can ever address this on a public platform, because we're talking about people and noises in public.
Yeah.
I'm just going to open this up.
Are you talking about the fart in the Dollar Tree?
Well. Funny enough, yes, I am. Because that's not the only just out loud fart that we've heard in the last 2 weeks. Why in the last 2 weeks have we heard just people just rip ass?
We were standing in the Dollar Tree yesterday. We're getting decorations for our wedding. We're doing some like DIY decorations. And we're like picking out little pumpkin things because we're having a whole Halloween wedding. And tell me why someone like 2 aisles over just rips butt. Like, I mean, like full like paper tear.
Cartoon fart.
It was like 7,000 decibels.
Yes.
And then she goes, oops, didn't mean to do that.
I didn't mean to do that.
And then you could smell it.
Literally.
It was really bad. And like I understand like everybody got a fart, but like sometimes like you're just like, bro.
But that's not the only time this happened.
No. Someone farted during the movie in The Conjuring.
And someone farted where was it? I don't know, it was at some store somewhere, it doesn't matter. But we were just walking in the aisle and someone 3 aisles over just full farted. full farted, like loud fart.
I just like every time I have to fart in public, I'm like, oh God, please be quiet. Like,
Yeah.
and like you know how you can kind of like I guess like work it to be quiet. Like, why are you just like full like forcing that shit
like,
out? Like they're gonna. I was half expecting to just see someone like poop their pants in the Dollar Tree.
Literally, it was crazy. Okay. All right, Alex.
Well, I hope you all enjoy.
We're not done yet. We have one part left.
What is? Oh, the rating.
We have to do the ratings.
I would rate this movie a 7 out of 7.
Yeah,
I did it right
honestly.
for the first time.
I know you did. You got a good job.
I almost said 10.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, that was like, wait, so 7. Yeah, no, I say looks, action, dialogue, very dialogue heavy movie, tenseness, plot,
One word descriptors.
all 10s across the board, 7s across the board. I was gonna fuck it up at some point.
Nah, it's fine.
Messaging.
Messaging. 6 out of 7. No, sorry. I just think if one of these is gonna be a fuck,
Could have used
like a 1.5.
Could have used more shooting the major scenes.
Real.
Yeah.
18 more shots.
Give me the edits.
Yeah.
Aesthetic
edits of the major getting shot. No. I think this movie is, at first, the cast of this movie is incredible. There's a chemistry from the moment that anyone sees is shown on screen. The writing of this movie is the best screenplay I've watched, at least since Sinners. I love
that movie.
I liked Sinners a lot. This is at least as good as that screenplay, and that's not me being sarcastic. I understand it's adapted, so it's a whole different ballgame. But this is the best screenplay, at least since I've seen since Sinners, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sinners just blew everything out of the park.
Yeah, but again, it's just a whole different ballgame. They're playing in two different fields, and incredible, just stylistic but very clean direction. 7 out of 7. Honestly, I mean.
He used the fancy words.
Okay, I used fancy words.
Stylistic direction.
Okay.
Jade's like, I'm a 2-word guy, not a 1-word guy.
Yeah, I use 2 words. I use 2 words, not cool. There's that ghost back.
This is my ghost after I got shot on the long walk.
Sleepy?
What? Oh, no, that was the ghost. It was the ghost of me getting over when I got shot on the long walk. Oh, yeah, I was thinking this whole movie. Jared and I have been training to do a half marathon after being beginner runners. And every time I think about it, I'm like, I'd be so dead. I'm gonna be so for real. I'd be so dead. Also, my one foot like twists really weird when I walk. Like I have to make a conscious effort to make sure it like
you're dead.
I walk
6
straight.
miles in, you're gonna forget about it one time, and there you go. Use your ankle.
Well, there's one part where like the kid is literally dragging his broken fucking foot.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's me. And then he gets shot in the brain, and I was like, that would also be me because I'm a huge wimp, and if my foot were broke, no way I'm dragging it, bro.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Because I know I would know I'm not gonna win.
All right. This is like our bonus site episode. Thank you all for listening, watching, all that fun stuff. Make sure you follow. Make sure you can get all the new episodes out, which I would appreciate. I know I'm further away from the microphone than I normally am, but now I'm closer. Hello. There's the ghost again. Make sure you follow everywhere you can. It's at MediaBite. Yes, it's at MediaBite Co on TikTok. It's at MediaBite Company on Instagram, and I can't get away from this freaking ghost. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. But
I'm just Alex. I'll be plugging nothing still. I feature myself on these.
It's funny because like, yeah, you know what? Sure.
He also has a TikTok where he posts physical media videos.
Yeah.
He talks about the things that he buys.
MediaBite Co.
Yes.
Yeah. But the podcast, listen to all the podcasts on the podcast network. There's Diary of a Indie Filmmaker. It's all writer director stuff. Slash It is more things, horror movie related, sort of like this. And
but not like this because I'm not there. That's all. That's all you.
That's me. Most of these are me because this is the only one you've ever done with me so far. Until our other
it's because the educational things I don't really fit in on. I don't think I'm not as educational as I am entertaining.
That was a little conceited.
I'm just educated in other media, other forms.
I love you.
I'm only awkwardly funny, so there's that.
No, you are funny, sweetheart, and entertaining. But we have another podcast that we're thinking about doing. We're not gonna say it right now.
Oh yeah.
But don't say it right now. Don't say it. Don't say it. We haven't talked about it and confirmed it. But that would be the second podcast you do. Yeah. It's at Jared Poyner, JaredPoyner. It's my personal Instagram account, but it's like my personal public Instagram account because I don't even really do social medias without
so many grams.
Yeah.
Hit me up on my grams.
Don't hit your grandma.
I said hit me up on my grams.
Don't hit you up. Don't. Are you asking these people to hit up your grandma? Because that's what you just said. Hit up my grandma.
It wouldn't be this podcast if I didn't say something incredibly inappropriate.
You heard from Alex. You guys have permission to hit up her grandma. Okay.
Please don't say that again. Anyways, bye-bye.
Okay.
Have fun.
Thanks, guys, for listening. Okay.
Thanks. Bye. Oh. Ha ha ha.
If I don't turn it off fast enough, Alex starts testing with watching the waveforms on the computer in front of her, and it makes me laugh because I can watch her. She's doing it right now. Okay, I'm going to let you all go from your purgatory that you call listening to the finale of these podcasts. Okay,
I'm not purgatorious.
Bye.